fighters. One out of a million will reach those heights. Always take a feeling that I won't deny that work. Never toss. Look in my eyes. I'm on the rise. But I'm up now, we all too late to fall. Yeah, anyone coming, I'ma lift them all. Never look down when it's risk of all. They got guts, got a lot, I gotta wish it all. Ain't got no feelings, we just flowing. Yeah, I'm that grain of sand that made it.
Hey, what's up, guys? Well, we know that the change of venue has been granted, but we also know that the reason why the change of venue was granted was because of the Goncalves family's meddling in this case. And I do say meddling. You know, they can get disappointed all they want in the judge that the change of venue got granted. But I don't care if they're disappointed, because if they hadn't have been doing their own jury surveys around Moscow, then this trial would not have gotten moved. You know, they're wanting the prosecution to be more aggressive, be more aggressive. They're getting pushback from the prosecution. How come this is the only victim's family that's out in front of the curve? You don't see the Chapins, the Mogans, or the Knodels. All you see on TV and interviews are the Goncalves family. And if they hadn't started doing their own jury surveys, then this trial would not have gotten moved. Why can't they be like the rest of the victims' families, who all want justice, yes, but are not front and center on our TV screens doing interviews with Ashley Banfield and with Brian Hinton?
Of course, we'd rather it stay in Latoff. Yeah. Just out of convenience sake and out of the fact that this is where it happened, this is where it deserves to be tried.
It would be a big inconvenience for you all too. I mean,
yeah. Idaho's a large state. You're talking another 12 hours of travel. We wouldn't be able to go home at the same day. Now you're staying overnight. And like you said, this is the community that was, this person, they victimized them, and the justice deserves to be felt local, and they have a hand in it. And that's what we believe in.
And you know this area well. You've been in court today too, listening to the defense's arguments. Do you think they could find a fair jury here?
We know they can, and we've actually asked and done interviews ourselves, and they have to.
We've actually asked and done interviews ourselves. Gee, now you wonder why the change of venue was granted. Because you're doing your own interviews and your own jury surveys.
Find 12 people plus some people on the side, some substitutes. But yeah, they can find 12 people that have made their mind up.
That's that's not that hard. Yeah. I just don't, I don't see that being that hard at all.
They have one expert that says you can call the jury and they can still remain, not contaminated, not biased. And then you got another expert that says once they hear something, they never can get it out of their head. So, you can weed those people out just through the jury selection and say, hey, if you had that vigil, let us know. And you can weed these people out. And I don't even think it's fair, but, for the sake of the case, you can get those people and remove them. Let's just say that they are some kind of bias there, but you remove those and then you just move on.
There's definitely people here, surprisingly, in this county, in this town, that I would think don't know much about it. I mean, I believe that there are some people. You know,
Tons.
there's a lot of people that don't watch TV. They don't come into town a lot. They have farms. They kind of stick to their own. So I see it being pretty easy for them. They just got to find them.
Do you feel like your voices are being heard in terms of the prosecution and them knowing that you would prefer it to stay?
We have made it very clear to the prosecution how important it is to us, and they have reiterated it to us that they are passing that information on to the judge, and that the judge does consider that.
Yeah, and they've
But
shared stuff
how
like
much it weighs, we don't know.
they've shared stuff like the reason that he's not in an orange suit and in shackles is to keep this local media unbiased. They've done everything that they can possibly do to treat him as if, I call it a white collar crime.
Yeah.
But this person's killed 4 people. He should be shackled. But there was a strategy for that, and that's to keep it here and to keep people from being, prejudging. And I think that they've done a good job. And the media also helps, people understand where we stand.
A lot of people are upset though when they see that he's innocent.
Yes.
It bothers people.
For sure.
It does.
For sure.
A lot.
I mean, you've got lawyers that have been lawyers and own their own the case.
He is shackled. We have been told he is shackled at the knees. But yeah, his suit covers it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's always nice and clean shaven. And that's apparently part of the, agreement to help in the long run, which we're here now at the long run of changing the venue. Yeah. And there's also the gag order, that's all to keep everything on lock. And
otherwise it was pointless.
Yeah.
It was completely pointless.
Yeah.
I remember seeing you all in court that first time, and what that was like, and I mean, does it feel any different now? It's just such a small courtroom, and you're so
Okay, so they're claiming that he is shackled. But is there a way to shackle him at the knees? Because if they do that, then they would have to cut a hole in the side of each pants. What I think is he's possibly shackled at the ankles, because I can't see someone being shackled at the knees and their pants fitting right.
close to him.
So close to him. I hate it. I didn't sleep last night. I feel like so much shock has worn off at this point that it is even more real. I feel like those early on court cases, it was just easy breezy, and now I'm like, it just is really hard for me mentally, and because I just feel like I'm becoming more and more mental aware, like by the day, like I'm coming out of this, haze of. In reality, it's just becoming more and more real every court date that we go to, and time goes on, and it's hard. It gets harder for me.
Is it hard, like not to look at him, or do you try to just listen to what they're saying? Or?
I look at him. Especially when he walks in, I'll look right at him. I'm just dying for him to look over, make eye contact.
Yeah, that's where the suit and being treated like a preferential prisoner, it gets you, because this person's done the most horrendous thing to your daughter, and they're getting treated better than a normal criminal would be, and it doesn't make a lot of sense for you, and you put up with the punishment because you're hoping that it'll justify the means, and we'll keep it here. But if they don't keep it here, then put him back in the orange suit and treat him like a normal criminal.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find.
Put him back in the orange suit and treat him like a criminal. What is with these people? Really? I mean, what is with the Goncalves family? I understand that they're grieving the loss of their daughter. I understand that. But here's the thing. This would never have gotten moved out of Latah County. It wouldn't have. Would never gotten moved if they hadn't butted into this case. If they would have just stayed out of the case and let the prosecution and the defense go through the legal narrative, then this case probably would have still been held in Latah. But because They did their own jury survey. They did their own interviews. That's the reason why he got moved out of Latah. Not only because of that, but because of how high profile this case is. That's another reason why he got moved out of Latah. Now, right there's Latah up there. There's Ada County down there. So I'd say about maybe a 7 to 12 hour drive from Latah. We told them that they need to be a little more aggressive and more aggressive. Where do you get off telling the prosecutor how to be and how to act? I don't get that. Where do these two get that they can dictate to the prosecution, what to do and how to act? I understand they lost their daughter to this brutal and heinous crime. But maybe they need to be like the other victims' families and disappear into the woodwork until after this trial is over. Because this is the only family of these victims' families that's front and center on our freaking TV screens. Maybe they just need to step back, disappear into the woodwork until after this trial is over. Because if they hadn't did their own jury surveys. I'm going to repeat myself. If they hadn't did their own jury surveys and did their own interviews, this trial would not have moved out of Latah. Yes, the media coverage was saturating Latah, Nez Perce, and Lewiston County, but these two didn't help matters any. Just because they want to see this guy dead. Showing up to the initial hearings wearing death penalty shirts. Do you realize how low class and offensive that is? Showing up to a court hearing wearing a shirt that says death penalty? We can course correct. We can get this right. We can get the right guy in the right chair, and who he's talking about is the judge. They don't like the judge at all because they felt like that the judge was on the defense side, granting the defense anything that they wanted.
And we can go from there.
This isn't the end. This isn't the end of the road. This is not over. This isn't a, because I take it to heart, like that's a win for them, and it's like tick for tack. But other people in the family have different mentality than that. And they say, Mom, you gotta look at the bigger picture. You can't, it's not tick for tack. It's not tick for tack.
So you can imagine, Ashley, how difficult it's been for them and for the other victims' family members to think that now there's going to be a whole new venue. They don't know where it is. And on top of that, there's going to be a whole new judge.
Okay, then I have this other question, because last week we were talking about 13 filings that his defense attorneys put forth to Judge John Judge, who's still presumably hanging on until a new judge is appointed. But what do we know about those filings? They want the death penalty off the table, and they suggested all sorts of things, from it's unconstitutional to the cruel and unusual punishment, etc. Where does that stand?
Well, we don't really know if Judge is hanging on. I've been trying to figure it out. I was talking to Shannon Gray, the Goncalves' attorney. There's a thought here, and it could happen that he's just done already, that the Supreme Court's going to decide, hopefully quickly, who the new judge will be, where this will move to, and the new judge will take over right away. And you mentioned this argument right now over the death penalty. The defense is trying to get it thrown out. Prosecution has to weigh in. There is a hearing set for November on that, Ashley, which is a big hearing. We all assumed that it was going to be in Moscow, Idaho. Likely not going to be in Moscow anymore, not going to be in front of Judge. So it's going to happen in November. Where will the hearing be? I mean, you can understand the frustration with the families not really knowing.
Yeah. I also heard Mrs. Goncalves say something about they're going to get some new help in the chair, and I'm not sure if she was referring to whatever new county comes along is going to help out with prosecution. I don't assume that's the case. I assume these prosecutors will move to a different county, period.
Yeah, it's going to be the same prosecution. Okay, it's the Latah County prosecutors, and then they've got the help of the state attorney general's office. What she's talking about in the chair when she says we're going to get someone new in the chair, she's talking about the judge.
Thanks for watching. Go to join.
She's talking about the judge. That's what she meant by someone new in the chair. She's talking about the judge. I really wish the Goncalves family would stop doing these interviews and just blend into the background until this trial is over with. That's what I really wish, is that they would just blend into the background. But I know they're not. they're getting their little 10 minutes of fame on News Nation and other stuff like that. But at least in Ada County, like Brian Hinton said, there's a secret underground garage where the jurors can come and go without ever being spotted on camera. Now, with the change of venue, it means Brian is going to get moved from Latah to Boise, and the Ada County Jail is a lot bigger than the Latah County Jail. So Brian's going to get some stripes while he's there. Yeah, there'll be some people in the jail who's probably watched this case and are probably going to step up to Brian once he gets there, because I don't see him going to PC or anything like that. They're going to put him in Gen Pop and possibly, if he's that high profile, they might just put him in not PC but administration segregation, where he would have his own one-man cell. You know, I mean, if they do that, cool. But if they put him in Gen Pop, then you may see a whole new Brian once the hearings get started. And about the hearings, they may change it up, because at least with John Judge, you had his YouTube channel to where you could watch the hearings and stream the hearings. We know nothing about Ada County and Boise. Are we going to be able to watch the hearings on YouTube? Are we going to be able to stream the hearings on YouTube? Or are they going to clamp down on the hearings to where we can't see what's going on, and this will all be done in the dark? Which I hope that's not the case. I really don't. I hope that's not the case. I hope whoever this new judge is still allows it to be streamed so we can watch it and take notes on it. But since it's not in Latah anymore, John Judge's channel, we won't be able to see it on there. We might not even be able to see the hearings anymore, because it's not being streamed on YouTube by John Judge anymore. And this new judge, whoever this new judge is, may clamp down and say, no more streaming. Nope. The public won't see nothing until the trial, which is going to suck. And do we even know if the trial is going to start June of next year? Because with this new judge, he's going to want to review everything. All the court documents, all the briefs from the last 2 years, all the evidence that the prosecution supposedly collected that they're not turning over. He's going to want to review that all. So the trial may not take place next year. It may take place at the earliest 2026, at the latest 2027. And let's hope whoever this new judge is, guys, he actually holds the prosecution accountable and makes them hand everything over. Where Judge John Judge didn't make them hand everything over. And you have all these motions from the defense trying to get the death penalty taken off the table. And if that happens, then Brian will be more likely be serving life in prison without parole, 4 counts of it. And guys, that would really, really irritate the Goncalveses if they know that this guy is not on death row. He's serving life in prison, which, I still don't believe he did it. But that would make the Goncalves family royally, royally ticked off if the death penalty got removed from the table and it was life in prison. Because we've heard Christy and Steve both state Christy said, I hope he suffers in agony in the very depths of hell, and I'll be a lot happier once he's off this planet. So we both know Steve and Christy, they want the death penalty. And I think if it got removed, we would see some very angry Goncalveses. Personally, I don't care. I don't care, if they're disappointed, if they're ticked off, because if they hadn't been meddling in this case, guys, would still be in Latah. I think that's one of the driving factors, besides the media coverage and the Facebook coverage and the YouTube coverage and the TikTok coverage and the Instagram coverage. I think that this would still be in Latah County, this trial. But like always, guys, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Hit that bell notification for any new uploads. And please, down in the comment section, leave me some insights, some thoughts, and some theories that you guys think is going on in this case. And I'll make sure I'll try to comment back, or I'll give it a heart. But the Goncalves family, their disappointment, they should have never got involved. That's all I got to say. They should have never got involved. They should have just disappeared into the background, like the Canodals, the Mogans, the Laramies, and the Chapins. If they would have just disappeared until after this trial, I would understand them being disappointed. But if you're sticking your nose in this case on a daily, doing your own interviews, doing your own jury surveys, butt out. That's all I got to say. They just need to butt out. The other victims' families are not saying a word or nothing. They don't want to till the trial. You have these two always up on the TV. How about this? Stay off the TV. We're tired of seeing you. You guys have a good Friday. And please, guys, keep A.R. Hayes in your prayers. He went through a very grueling surgery today. He was in surgery for 5 hours. So please keep him in your prayers, and leave something nice on his page. An uplifting comment, sending prayers, sending hugs. He is a very good person. And let's all send our love and our prayers to him at this time. All right, guys, peace out. This is Robert with True Crime Podcast.
Took a swing at a wrecking ball and I prayed for my downfall, and I found a way to reconcile, 'cause in my heart it's not worthwhile. It's a bloody battlefield where some go down, others heal. In the end it's all the same. All you can do is play the game. Oh.